Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey, and I hope you're well wherever you are. I hope you're having a good day. Whether it's the beginning of your day, the end of your day, whether you're sleeping and can't hear me, I hope you're having a good sleep. Thank you, X Bubba Hotep, who says Lady Monkey gets removed from being said in the chat. Why does YouTube hate monkeys? Well, like a lot of morons, they hear the word monkey and they think, oh my God, that's racist, which, by the way, means you're the racist one. If you think black people, because somebody says monkey, that's on you. Let's see, where are we at here? Cato, Mr. Owen, Ebony, Alyssa, Della Hayes, Shroom, and Evil One. I almost yelled my own name there. Dylan, Greg, Geodes. Man, there's a lot of you guys here tonight. Steak and Eggs, Quinn. I see what you did there, Monkey. Matta, you said Meowkey. That's not the same thing. Remember, guys, if you want me to yell your name, you got to be here in the first 5 minutes. If you're after that, you got to pay for it. Don't pay me for it. Be here in the first 5 minutes. Sassy, Shrouded Angel, Heaven, Ryan. Ryan says, I'm here to mock the monkey. Why do you want to mock me? I'm wonderful. I'm not mock worthy. Man, there's a lot of monkeys in the chat there. I do want to talk about the title. That is not clickbait. I have to be nicer for just a little while, at least for a little while. Poppy, how you doing, sweetie? Citron, all you need. Frank, Dante. I'm very angry, so I apologize if I make very little sense today. What's wrong, Dante? What's going on? Reno, Terry, Aether Toast, Demon Man, Circus Zero, Kyler. If I've missed anybody, I'm so sorry. Justin, I don't know if Justin said my name, but I saw his, so I'm yelling it. Anyway, guys, yeah, I really do want to move this to its own channel. I love Monkey in the Morning, but it's just breaking up the videos way too much. And I used to put them in a playlist, but doing that hurts me in the algorithm because it drops down. And it's some YouTube shit. Don't worry. Peter, Struggling Paradox. I can be a little louder tonight because I'm not worried about Lady Monkey. Lady Monkey, she's downstate with Grand Monkey and her dad. Her dad came up this weekend. So, well, actually came up for the week. They're all down there with Grand Monkey at the moment. Mata, Ransom Monkey, I have to mock you every night. And where's the edited video of Grand Monkey? I still haven't done it. I will get to it. Grisella, Steven, Voltron. Shit, I forgot to even look at the time when I started this. Where are we at here? Kyler, he said, gotcha, monkey. I don't know how, but I ended up in an argument with someone who doesn't believe the death sentence is justifiable in any case. Andrew, random. I can see their argument actually. I get the desire for vengeance, the desire for punishment, but I cannot. I'm so on the fence about it. I really am. But I don't want to add to your anger. I don't know what their argument was, but for me, it comes down to taking a life, man. Taking a life. That's a big decision. That's a big decision. I'm drunk as shit. What we doing today? I want to kill people. Well, Deborah, I suggest playing a video game. That's how I deal with that. Snub, thank you so much. Shout out to my friend Nick Herr, not because it's his birthday, but because I can. That's right, you can indeed. Tyler said, watched John Wick 3. It was not as good as I was hoping, as I read hoping. Oh, not as good. Okay. I heard somebody else who really, really liked it. So I guess it's one of those matters of opinion thing. Cigar Chomping Penguin. How you doing, man? I want to move this over to its own channel, which means I was going to move it over to the one that I have for gaming. but I can't for reasons I don't want to bore you with. So it's got to be its own brand new thing. But either way, in order to get monetization, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, which I think I could probably get. But you also have to have YouTube approval. You have to have the watch hours. We could get that easy with you guys. You guys are amazing, so we could get that with no problem. But after all that, YouTube goes in and actually watches, and they're like, can we trust these guys to say things? Terry Diamandis, thank you. Just relabel the death penalty as extremely postnatal abortion, and everyone's opinions will reverse on it. Jesus. You're probably not wrong. The thing is with real quick, Peter, thank you so much. I was here in the first 5 minutes, but have some money for yelling at me anyways. Oh, thank you so much, Peter. I know you were joking there, Terry, but there are a lot of people like, how can you be pro-life and for the death penalty? And you think it's okay to go to war? People join up for our military voluntarily. People who end up in the electric chair or in the table on the table with the needle, whatever. People who end up in the death penalty situations, they did something to get there. I've always hated that argument because it makes. And again, I understand you were joking, Terry, but yeah, an unborn child hasn't done anything to deserve the death penalty. You know what I mean? The death penalty argument is retarded. And depends. Dante said, that's what makes me so mad. I can see both sides of the argument as well. I was getting mad at their blatant refusal to even acknowledge the other side's argument. I run into that a lot. I had a very mini argument today about global warming. I wasn't actually even arguing about global warming. I was arguing about the alarmism around global warming and the fact that the UN, the newest, we have 12 years to stop climate change before it'll be irreversible. This is literally the same bullshit they've been pushing for 30 fucking years, at least 30. It was 1989 when they told us we have 10 years before man-made global warming is so bad that we can't reverse it. It'll be beyond our control, which, if my math is correct, would mean by 1999, it was beyond our control. So this new 12 years, it's meaningless. It's already beyond our control. You guys told us that because you're a bunch of alarmist jackasses. And that was my point. But somebody's like, you don't believe in global warming? Like, it's not what I said. I'm perfectly willing to believe the globe is warming up. Do I think man has done it? That's a whole different question. Have you seen the Batman trailer? It's so bad. I have not. I've heard it was bad. Sorry, the Batwoman trailer. Did I say Batman? Debate is dead. No one wants to listen to opinions, facts, stats anymore. Yeah, I mean, there's people out there who do, but Jill says, be honest, it started over a heated debate surrounding hot flashes. I don't get hot flashes. That's typically a woman thing. Ryan says, Monkey, in the late 70s, scientists were screaming that the polar ice caps were expanding and the ice would be almost to New York City by 2020. Yeah, we've had alarmism. There was near the end of the 70s, it was like, there's global cooling coming. And thankfully, factories exist, which changed that. Can anyone see in this chat? See what? What are we looking for, Massive? Terry says, of course, man is responsible for global warming. Men are to blame for everything. Feminists told me so. Yeah, you're right. Hey, I get to hear you live. Yay. Hey, Trucking with the Tablet. How are you? Hi, Chaos. How you doing? Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't be tired. I didn't wake up till like 5:30, so I'm not even at 12 hours yet. And I should be alive and awake and happy. And I'm happy. I'm in a much better place than I was yesterday, man. Ooh. I typed monkey and it didn't show up. Massive. There are certain ways you have to type if you're trying to type ranting monkey to get it to work. The best way to do it is ranting monkey with the R and the M capitalized, because YouTube thinks if you type ranting monkey without doing that, you're being racist, because apparently they think black people are monkeys. Which, by the way, YouTube, that's not cool. But anyway, yeah, so I want to move this over to its own channel so I can actually move it to a podcast as well. And so that's not so tied in with my channel. I don't care that it's tied in. I want the cross, what's the word I'm looking for? Traffic. But I want to clear up my channel of it. And in order to get YouTube's approval, I'm going to have to be good. It doesn't mean I can't swear. It doesn't mean I can't talk about relevant topics. It just means we might need to, might need to tone down on the downs the eggs a little bit. Yeah, so I got to be a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner, because you know they're a little bit sensitive. They think black people are monkeys, but they get really sensitive about other things you say. Yeah, what's all this bullshit about multiple channels? If I'm going to do this as a podcast, which I think I'm going to, I think Polly has talked me into it. Actually, Polly, he didn't talk me into it. He's absolutely right. I should do this. I should send this out as a podcast as well, because it's basically what it is. You're watching my face with a little, what is that, a gray ball that gets bigger when you hear my voice? So does that mean the Holocausters are canceled? I'm not sure what that even is. I just talk about the ups the eggs. No, look, I mean, we could probably even get away with saying downs the eggs here and there. We might need to, we just need to tone a couple of things down. There might be something where I go, ooh, that's not that. We got to stop there. So what do you call it? A cynic? I'm not reading that. God damn, you trying to get me in trouble. Let's take a look at the news. I haven't really read the news today, guys. So I'm going to be learning with you. Usually, at least I have some idea of what's going on. And tonight I don't. I got up late and I went and hung out with my granddaughter for a while and then jumped on the show. So I heard a little bit of news on the show, but dad of New York PD cop in alleged murder for hire plot speaks out. It's not her. I don't know what the fuck that's about. Let's find out, shall we? It's not her, insists the father of the NYPD cop accused of hiring a hitman in a failed plot to kill her estranged husband and her husband's lover's own teen daughter. Wow. Not just the husband's lover, but the husband's lover's daughter. What a cunt. It's the boyfriend, the father, who identified himself as Lou Cincinnati, told the Post after rushing from his Virginia home to the Oceanside, New York home of his daughter, Valerie, on Friday night. We've had trouble with him before, the dad added, declining to name the boyfriend. Oh, so he's suggesting that this cunt's boyfriend hired somebody to kill her ex-husband. I mean, it's kind of weird. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying if it did happen, it's really fucking weird. Yeah, but she's in trouble right now because they think she hired him, and if it turns out to be the boyfriend, then you'll get off. Bert and Ernie, thank you so much. Downs the egg cunt. Oh God. Yeah. Monkey, according to YouTuber, it's a Gundam. If you don't say anything to get you demonetized in the first 30 seconds, it takes YouTube 24 to 48 hours to strip monetization away. Well, I rarely say anything in the first couple of seconds to get myself in trouble. And I don't think I'll get monetization stripped away. We don't go that bad here. It's not like we go into racist stuff, because even I'll put like, no, there's super chats I won't read. We've had that with I forget his name. He used to come here and donate a lot, and he'd say racist shit, and there was times it's like, sorry, can't read that. You can actually get away with quite a bit on YouTube. You really can. You really can. That's all this is, self-censorship. Yes, it is. You're right. You know what? Because this is a job I'm doing, and there are rules set by the I'm using hashed or air quotes employer. There have been very few. I can't think of a job I've had where it would be okay with the employer for me to sit there and talk about how big somebody's boobs are or who I'd like to put my dick in. There's a lot of people. Well, you're self-censoring, of course, and you do it at your job too. And don't tell me you don't, because I'll call you a fucking liar. Tim Pool has to do linguistic gymnastics now. Tim Pool needs to just be a man about it. Just say what he fucking means. If he that, or just don't talk about it. You don't have to do linguistic gymnastics. There's ways. I saw Tim Pool. What one was he doing it on? I can't even remember. And he go about a topic I can't even discuss. Stop it. Stop it. Come on. You're not making that much money off of your fucking videos anyway. If you really want to talk about that subject, take the hit on that one. Tim's making most of his money off his Patreon and donations and stuff. He's not getting it off of fucking YouTube. I'm not worried. Okay, look, guys. I'm not interested in YouTube's money. I mean, if I can get it, cool. But I'm not worried about my streams going over there and getting demonetized. I'm worrying about getting monetized in the first place, so that if I can get them monetized, maybe some of them will show up in algorithms if we're not too bad in that one. I don't self-censor at work. The fact that I don't have a job may be contributing to that, though. Well, yeah, Terry. I just think it's funny how many people come on to YouTube and yell at creators, "You're self-censoring. You shouldn't do that." Like, what do you say at your job? What do you say at your job that I mean, your job is to say what you're thinking. I do say what I'm thinking, and I can say what I'm thinking without dropping an F-bomb every time I want to. I did it in my one video. Was that video not good because I didn't say fuck in it? I like having a channel like Broseph. Who's Broseph? I don't know what that means. You haven't worked with my coworkers. Last night, one of them said some stuff that made even him blush. I'm not saying you can't get away with saying stuff there. I'm saying if your employer themselves heard it. I've worked with a lot of people, like especially on lunch, man. We talked about some horrible shit. And we got very lucky that nobody in that break room ever went and told on us, because we could have got fired over that shit. She did. Well, if the owner heard it and didn't do it, you got away with it. Oh, Spunky, you tried? I don't know what that means. I don't know what have you attached the TENS device to your Wang yet? No, I didn't even use the TENS device today, and it's never going on my Wang. But I can't reach where I need it. Even with my long monkey arms, it would be really difficult to get those pads in place on my back by myself. And I didn't want to ask my son or his fiance to put them on me, because it's kind of weird. So I'll just wait till Lady Monkey gets back. I just said I like having a channel, bruh. Oh, I see what you do. I don't know what a brosef is, though, so that's where I messed it up, I guess. They like me because they like that I am smart and customers love me. I've known a lot of people. Look, yeah, you can say whatever you want at work. Just realize that at any moment, they may have to call you in and fire you for it, because if they don't, they can get sued. That's just the reality of business these days. I was offended by what he said. There you go. How you doing, WR? Ex-Oregon football star tackles armed student inside high school. Damn, why? That seems excessive. What the hell? There we go. A former college football standout at the University of Oregon was credited Friday with tackling an armed student at Portland, Oregon, or at a Portland, Oregon high school before anyone was injured. Keenan Lowe, a football and track coach and a security guard at Park Rose High School, told reporters as he was leaving a police interview late Friday that he was tired but relieved at the outcome. There were no other suspects. Police declined to release the student's name and said they were still trying to determine if he fired any shots. You can't, excuse me. Can't you ask the people who were around? I mean, those things tend to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Loud as fuck. I'm happy everyone was okay, Lowe said as he walked out of the school about 4 hours after the incident. I'm happy I was able to be there for the kids and for the community. Good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah, maybe stop the tragedy. That's awesome. But you should put that in the headline. I feel like dude had a bunch of guns or whatever would make it a little more interesting. Trump's financial disclosures show revenues remained steady in 2018. Yeah, the billionaire made a lot of money. I saw what was it? Rashid, what the fuck's her name? Talib. I don't know how the fuck you say it. Representative Rashida. What the fuck is her name now? I can't remember it at all. But she she was like, look, Trump made money. He's still making money, even though he's the president. Yeah, you're allowed to do that. He's not personally overseeing his accounts. That happens. So yes, his businesses still make money. It's not like he goes, I'm going to become president. I'm selling everything I own and never doing any business again. Because that'd be stupid. He's still making money. Shut the fuck up. I can't believe these fuckers. Like, how dare somebody make money and be president? Now, if he was making money because he was president, like there was some deal that he personally worked on that made it so he could make more money, yeah, then you have a problem. You can't point to any of that. All you can point to is he got money. Then you're a retard and you shouldn't be talking out loud. Bert and Ernie, attach the tens pads to the chair back so they're in the place when you sit down. That's an interesting idea. I just don't know. Maybe on a bed would be a little bit more, a little easier. But I'm still not sure I would work out exactly where they're supposed to be. Hey, Spunky, you got room? Sure, SDA. You want to come hang out? I'm sure the boys will be along shortly. Now I have to find you. It's been a long time since you and I have actually DM'd each other. I think I've actually talked to roaming millennials since I talked to. Yeah, wow. How long has it been since we private messaged each other? Let's see. What's it say? Oh, it wasn't that long ago. I apparently just get a lot of fucking private messages. I do, guys. I get a lot of DMs. I have my DMs open. And they separate them. If we've never spoke, if I've never replied to one of your DMs, it sits in a separate place. I read them all. I do. Holy shit, James Colley. It's Saturday. Thought about it, and last week's surprise was short-sighted. How was Satsu supposed to get your pre-order for Borderlands 3? So here it is. Unless y'all figured it out, then use this for the game giveaways anyway. James, Jesus fuck, man. Damn, thank you so much. And yeah, I really do want to pre-order that because it looks good. Man, thank you. I don't even know how to say thank you enough to when you guys do stuff like that. Damn. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. And yeah, after this will be coming in on my next check. So yeah, I will be I might be able to finagle something. No, I have to do it next month. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That'll still be the pre-order. Still means I get the pre-order bonuses. And damn, thank you. Hi, SDA.
Hi, Spunky. How's it going?
Wonderful. How are you tonight?
I'm good.
I'm actually I mentioned last night how down I was, and I hate those fucking days. The only good thing about them is usually I come out of them. I wake up the next day and I am just ready to go. I'm happy again. Life is good, and it really is. I'm in a good mood. Things are good.
I'm glad you're in a good mood.
Mm.
I'm pleasantly neutral,
Ah,
I think. Yeah.
well, let's see if I can bring you down. San Francisco's homeless population is skyrocketing.
Oh, yay. Yay? No, not yay.
Oh,
I've
geez,
been I've
man.
been writing all day. I think I wrote 10,000 words today, so I'm still like in the weird. I forgot how to
Okay,
socialize.
is this a homeless guy, or is this a dude passed out?
But
I I feel like that's just a
yes.
dude passed out.
Is
I
his
mean,
head still on?
yeah, it's right. He's his arms. This dude just passed out on the sidewalk. He's not homeless. That's a horrible picture to use for this for this article. Federal count shows the number of homeless people are increased by double digits percentages in 3 San Francisco Bay Area counties over 2 years. Fuck. As the region struggled to tackle the growing problem, including 17% in San Francisco and 43% in the county that includes Oakland. Fuck.
That
That's
is that's not like homelessness is increasing. That's that's like on another level.
It is. That is retarded. More
Yeah.
than 25,000 people were counted as homeless during an overnight tally conducted in San Francisco, Alameda, and Silicon Valley's Santa Clara counties in January. Detailed reports are expected later this year. The initial reports, they counted 25,000 homeless folks on one night. Um,
That's crazy.
The San Francisco Bay Area is grappling with the homelessness crisis driven in part by too little housing stock and a raring tech economy that has widened the inequality gap. In San Francisco, the median price of a 2-bedroom home is $1.3 million.
Which is the average price of living nationwide. Hmm.
And a family of 4 earning $117,400 a year is considered low income. Fuck. If I was earning $117,000 a year, I would have already moved and I'd have great internet, and I would tell you guys never donate to me.
Oh, Teresa would be a very happy camper at $170,000 a year. That is just very concerning. And I don't even know what they do about it. This is one of those times when I'm glad I'm not in charge, but also they got to get something together. They have to figure that shit out. I don't know what to
Can't,
do. I don't have a solution. I'm just here to complain.
can't
Uh,
they build like suburbs around the place? It's like I've never. Let's see. I need a map of California.
it's very crowded around
I know
there.
I know that area
And
is, but
well,
yeah,
and the thing is that a lot of people already own those properties, and the property values are so high that they really can't, that the land is already, oh my God, Teresa, say things out loud. Okay. The land is already developed is kind of the problem. So there's not really much that they can do unless you go farther out.
you
And
either
see,
have to
the
go
thing
real
with,
far north, real far south, or real
yeah,
far east. I
and
see
the
that.
thing
Yeah.
with like liberals is once you get white liberals that don't have to deal with poor people, quote unquote, is that once you actually get to them and you're like, hey, can we put poor people out here? They're like, I'm sorry, what? No.
Don't you dare bring those poor people here.
Right, because it lowers the
Wow.
value of their land and the value of their homes and all that kind of stuff.
It's been a long time since I looked at a map of California. Holy shit. Yeah. I mean, I know that area was, you know, concentrated. But damn. All right. Yeah, and they got the tech, and this is what they were trying to do with the tax on tech companies to pay for the homeless. It's like, okay, but what do you do? Do you build houses in the middle of the fucking street? Also, too many regs to develop property into housing. I don't doubt that at all. It's fucking
Yeah, for
California.
sure. Yeah, that's also a very good point. There
Is
are
that
so many
building the
regulations in
well?
California, and it's very hard to get anything done.
Yeah, and it's you have the environmental regulations. You
Mhm.
also have to worry about earthquakes. All of the
Yes,
buildings out there have to
exactly.
be earthquake proof, I guess is the
Well,
word.
yeah, and so some of the regulations are completely reasonable and some of them are completely not reasonable, but either way you slice it, all of that adds up to it's very expensive to build there. It's very difficult to find a place where people are willing to accept new residential buildings that would
Low income.
accommodate lower income people, like I said, quote unquote, because you're talking about people who are making over $100,000 a year.
And they're
Um,
poor. The
right,
fuck?
but that doesn't actually address the homeless people, which are making less than that. And God for fucking bid, you
Well,
put it in a trailer park in
every look,
California.
and I've noticed this mostly with liberals. Sorry, but I know it goes with everybody. The NIMBY thing is fucking retarded. NIMBY, not in
Sorry.
my backyard. One of the greatest examples of this was Ted Kennedy. Ted Kennedy was an environmentalist, y'all. But when it came time to like, hey, we need to build some windmills and buy your property. He's like, oh fuck no, fuck no, uh, go ahead and build a coal power plant 100 miles away where I don't have to see it. Because dear God, it might ruin his Hamptons view. Homelessness has brought back typhus. I heard from a family member that California politicians are trying to convince the people to build small shelters on their property. I'm not surprised, man. Yeah, Eve, if you want to come hang out. Oof. You know what's gonna happen? I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna invite Eve, and that's gonna put us at 6 if everybody shows up. So everybody's gonna show up. I never do this, but
Eve is very well behaved.
I would. Well, I know. But even with really well behaved, once you get 5 is usually pushing it, but
Okay.
that's all right. That's all right. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Um,
We'll pass around a talking stick.
what the hell is this? No, that ain't cool. Look, Ralph, dude, what the fuck?
Uh-oh. What'd he do?
What the fuck?
Am I gonna need to get my vape out for this?
That is not cool.
Oh, come on, Ralph. Oh, I didn't even look at your screen. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Wow. Damn.
Sorry,
Woman.
I meant to mute
Woman.
myself.
uh
That is fucked. Sorry, messed
that's
up.
fucked up. That's fucked
Fucked
up.
up.
No, you can say fucked up.
Okay. Well, on the professionals, since we had to rebrand ourselves, we're not allowed to swear. And I'm trying to get myself to stop swearing. It is not going well at all. Given that we talked about Downsy eggs the other night.
Look, we don't have to do it yet. And even a little bit of cussing isn't bad. When you get the little yellow sign, you get the little yellow dollar sign on your circle dollar sign on your video. That doesn't actually mean you're demonetized. We all use that word. What they actually say is not suitable for all advertisers.
Yeah.
So you miss out on the big ones. But more important, far more important, is that they hide you in the algorithm.
Yeah, what that does is it's not that you lose ads, it throttles your video.
Yeah.
And you can actually see that in my view counts, because the ones where I don't, like on one of them, I got to 11,000 views and then they saw it and they were like, oh shit. And they demonetized it. And my view count went from like 11, like got to 11,000 and then it just stopped. And that was it. It stopped getting views altogether.
Yeah.
And I was like, and you guys say that the yellow thing doesn't do anything other than not put advertisers on it. That's what you guys say. And I just wish you guys would stop lying about it.
Exactly. We knew this from before, because if you didn't have a monetized channel, you did not get the views that somebody else doing the same thing got.
Yeah, exactly.
Because and it makes sense, because they don't get paid unless an ad is displayed. That's just how it works. YouTube wants money.
Right.
Anyway, but the reason for for toning it down a little bit, if I move it to another channel, it's not even about the actual ads. It's about getting that first monetization chance.
Oh, for sure. Well, that's why Weibo and I were talking about doing it too, especially because we're on like this family friendly streak where we're really trying not to swear and all that kind of stuff. So we're totally in that same boat where we've been talking about it too.
Hi, Chaos. How you doing?
I'm good. About you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. But I want to get back to that sheriff for a minute. Ralph, look, I know you're probably not listening to this, but I'm not a Ralph hater. I think he's done some questionable shit lately, but I'm not a Ralph hater. This is that's fucked up.
Well, that's just messed up. I mean, look, you don't put somebody else's name and face over something like that. Like you just, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah, this is the same guy. Well, I mean, what should we expect out of the guy who basically just told dude that he was like glad that Sargon's kid was dead?
Yeah, that joke. I mean, he was joking, but that's not that joke was like, ooh, Ralph, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, even people who were like, yay, jokes were like, oh God, what the oof.
And I get what Ralph was saying, because Ralph was like, look, this guy's trying to get me demonetized. This is how I make my living. He's trying to get me kicked off platforms, which, by the way, that would harm Ralph to the point like I can't eat anymore. So I get it, but
absolutely,
that's a little far.
Yeah, well, exactly, and that's why like with those things,
I've made jokes that, I mean, I get it. I do. I'm not judging too harshly here, because I've said some fucked up shit, not on stream, thank God, but in like real life, and like, ooh, I really shouldn't have said that.
Well, yeah, story of my life, to be honest, because SDA doesn't have a filter, and especially
what? No,
I know. Well, but because Eve has met me in real life. First of all, in real life, I'm a fluffy bunny, but also I'm a fluffy bunny who doesn't have a filter.
I still feel like somebody should draw a dick on your cheek.
Why?
I want to do it myself.
But why?
Challenge accepted.
Because I think it would be funny.
You know what? I was totally going to come visit you next weekend, and now I'm completely reconsidering this plan.
I'm sorry, you're what?
Well, if you're
after all the work I've done,
you
all the research that I've done for the places we're gonna go and the shit we're gonna do, and you're gonna ditch me? Oh hell no, bitch! I'm coming to Atlanta if you do that shit. Do you understand me right now?
Okay, we gotta get back to the news.
I'm coming for you.
Denver mayoral candidate couldn't recall what NAACP stands for. Do you guys know what it stands for?
The NAACP?
Yeah.
I almost said something racist just to be funny.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm like, I know what it stands for, but that's not what it stands for.
National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Yeah, I knew that, but I
did not have to look that up.
I was gonna say the N stood for something else, and I
feel like they should have to change that. That's kind of racist. You're not allowed to call black people colored people anymore.
Well, look, I think it's an older joke but there is an extra. It's kind of like with MARTA. I actually forget what it actually means, but there's something that we all call it. We all say it stands for. That is not what it actually stands for, but it's a more apt description. So that's what immediately popped into my head, and I was like, I can't say that on stream, so I'm the wrong person to ask.
Well, here, this is where one of the reasons I wanted to read this. Denver mayoral candidate Jamie Julius, I don't know how you say her name, stumbled this week when asked on a live Facebook program what NAACP stands for. Guylis, I think is how you say that, was being interviewed Tuesday on the Brother Jeff show, which focuses on African American issues. Off camera, a man asked her what the acronym means. National African American, Gillius began before the man told her she was wrong. Well, with what we use today, wouldn't that be what you would assume it is?
It's what I would assume it is, given what we do today. Yes.
Skipna says, Guylis. Am I saying that right? Is it Gillis? Guy? I don't know how you say that.
I don't know how you say it either.
Is a freaking idiot. I don't doubt that, but I mean, one, the NAACP is not as prominent as it used to be, and we're not supposed to say colored people.
Well, yeah, that's just it. Yeah, and like, sorry, I'm having trouble talking right now. And my stutter is showing. And colored people is just not in the vernacular
Spit it out,
anymore.
What? Yeah.
So it, but at the same time, if you're going to go on a show like that, maybe you should know. I don't know. I'm also not going to judge too harshly, because as somebody who is constantly on live stuff, we all fuck it up every once in a while.
I only know that because I heard it a lot when I was much, much younger. I haven't. God, when was the last time I heard about the NAACP? I mean,
Rachel Dolezal.
Maybe. Yeah, probably. What's that? 2 years out now? 3 years out now?
Shut up.
It's been a while. Yeah, we can't just. Why can't we just refer to colored people as people? Well, yeah, that's how it should be. Shio, what are you getting me into? Over on my Streamlabs. Thank you, Shio Garath. A Jewish girl asked me for my number, and I had to inform her we use names now. God damn it. Hashtag Polly abuses Jack. Shio, you don't get me in trouble. And remember, guys, we don't have to tone it down yet. I'm not trying to get. It's not like they're going to come over to this show to see what I'm doing over there.
I think. Oh, sorry, Eve.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know that Shio has it in him to tone it down.
Oh, that's where it would be up to me as the host to be like, okay, I can't exactly read that.
Oh, I know, because there have been times on the professionals where Shio has sent us a Streamlabs and we've been like, okay, and then like halfway through, I should have read that before I started reading it.
I put my Streamlabs into the chat there, guys. Tonight's fundraiser, at least for now, is the Rename the NAACP Fund. If you'd like to donate, throw some money over that way. Oh, Hammer's around. How you doing, Hammer? I don't see Hammer though. Somebody said
he and I were just playing Heroes of the Storm.
There he is. What else do we have here? Woman accused of cutting baby from slain teen recently lost son. Jesus, that's a horrible story. Fuck those people who did that. But we don't talk about dead kids here, so we're gonna skip that story. And what do we got? SNL's new. I don't care about Saturday Night Live. Hasn't been funny in decades. Sad. I think that is everything I wanted to cover in news. And like I said, guys, I say everything I wanted to cover. What I actually mean is what looks interesting to me, because I didn't read the news at all. I stayed away from it. What the hell is this?
You said SNL hasn't been funny in what decades? How long did you say?
Decades.
In decades.
Decades. And I'm old enough to know that.
Especially lately, because all they ever do is make Trump jokes now. And it's like, okay, guys, do you have any other jokes? Like everything has a Trump joke in it. And I'm like, all right, I get it. You don't like Trump. Find something else to joke about because it's just not entertaining. Just joke about the same thing all the time.
In a sad way, Trump has ruined comedy. What little of it was left, all they do now is make jokes about Trump. And it's not just that. I can't remember the last time I saw something from The Onion that was fucking funny. Thank you, James Colley. Not all afros can part. Question for the fundraiser. I'm not sure.
He's trying to change the acronym.
Not all afros can part.
I don't think it went very well.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Eve, because I totally missed what he did there. You know what? Yeah, let's find a bet. Leave the same letters. You can't change them. The only thing you can add is like a for or the or of. Give me a better acronym for NAACP that's not racist.
Oh,
not racist.
I was like, oh, never mind.
Once you got the stipulation, you were like, "Aw."
Well, that's the hard part, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, because colored people, you know, they already covered the racist part.
Shio says, I remember all the comedians railing against Bush, but can't step out of line against Obama. Yeah, very few people made any kind of fun of Obama because, yeah, how dare you?
Well, he's black, so you can't do that.
That was one of the great things about Clinton is that, man, comedians had a blast with him once the Monica stuff came out. That was amazing. You do get more left-leaning comedians. That's just natural. People who go into arts tend to be more liberal. National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That's what it already means. Nah, POC. I see what you did there, but you can't add any letters to the end. It's almost as if kowtowing to PC sensibilities makes you suck ass. Well, it's like they can't. One, there's not a lot about Trump that you can make funny that's not naturally funny. You can point it out, but you can only point it out so many times. Like his hair. He's got bad hair. Okay, you're right. He's orange. Not much these days. He's actually kind of pale these days. And then what? He's cheated on wives before. Yep. All right.
Well, you know what actually has annoyed the crap out of me, and this is sort of related, is that people have pointed out how people have made fun of Hillary Clinton, and they've said things like, "Oh, the way that people make fun of her is tailored to her being a woman," and they couldn't make those jokes if she wasn't a woman. And I'm like, well, you couldn't make the Trump has a small dick jokes if he wasn't a man. Like that is true. Targeted male humor. People making fun of Ted Cruz's voice and Marco Rubio's manliness is completely tailored to them being men. So, fucking checkmate, I think.
Well, I don't remember too many people making that much fun of Hillary. I'm sure there was some, but look, hashtag not all, because not all jokes are just about Trump. They'll pepper in a little something about local or not local, recent news articles or something. But it's so focused on Trump that it's just become stale. It's fucking stale.
Do you think they think it's funny?
Yes. Because they don't know what the hell comedy is. These are the people who think Nanette was funny, that was comedy. A woman getting up there and telling you about how she was raped. Yeah, that's funny as fuck.
Wait, why would that be funny?
That's the new comedy. They call it post-comedy, SDA.
They call it what now?
Post-comedy.
What does that even mean?
I'll try to answer in a second.
Post-rape-a-doodle comedy?
Assassin of the Gray says, no one wanted to make fun of Hillary. They did not want a suicide with 5 bullets in the back of the head, right? Yeah, they have to remind look, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Post-comedy. It's this new concept that SJWs have come up with, because real funny, real comedy. That's not a thing anymore because it offends people, it upsets people, and we can't do that. So what we have to do instead is get up on stage and tell stories that make us feel. Stories that'll make us at the end instead of laughing. There's actually an article out there about this, that the point of comedy these days is not to make you laugh. Like, then it's not fucking comedy. You should be laughing.
That's called a TED Talk.
Sassy Ghost says post comedy is an artsy way of saying it's not funny. Exactly. It's exactly what it is.
Well, that's fucking stupid. I wanna watch comedy that has a good time.
I watch it to laugh. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, stand-up comedy is one of my favorite things.
Blades of Grass says, comedy doesn't exist anymore. I can't remember the last time I laughed at a joke. Do you like Jimmy Carr, or do you find him a little too crass?
Oh, I love Jimmy Carr. He's funny.
I fucking love Jimmy.
We have NAACP suggestions in chat.
Oh, what do we got? What do we got there?
Shio says National Association Against Caucasian People.
Not too far off. Okay.
Circus Zero says National Association of the Advancement of the Communist Party.
Another on the nose one, yeah.
Blades of Grass says National Aggressive Army of Chicken People.
Ooh. that's a little close to racist right there.
A little bit. Black Romeo says since he can't at you, he says National African American Cultural Preservation.
Actually, that one wouldn't be bad. In all seriousness, that one
they could actually use that.
Yeah.
Geode says, I mean, they hired Trevor Noah to pitch Battlefield 5. Even a comedy layman like me knows that's bad. Trevor Noah's not funny.
And he was, even when he was like being edgy, he wasn't funny.
His timing sucks.
Yeah.
He's just bad.
It sucked when he didn't think that Aborigines were attractive, and it sucks now.
On The Daily Show, he tries to do an impression of Jon Stewart, and he can't pull it off. Yeah, his timing sucks, and he's just flat. I remember Eddie Murphy in Delirious. That's funny even today. Oh, Delirious is still great. Still great. Kevin says Chevy Chase was funny on SNL. Sometimes. What is Blades of Grass saying sorry for? I don't know what you're saying sorry for, but yeah.
Stella. Don't read that out loud, Spunky.
He's so bad, or he is the joke because he's so bad. Who? Jimmy Carr? Oh, Jimmy Carr's great.
I think he means Trevor Noah.
Oh, if you mean Trevor Noah, then absolutely.
Because Jimmy Carr is really funny. Comedy
is derived from someone else's suffering. Someone has to be on the receiving end of the punchline in order for it to have any impact.
That's not really true.
Not necessarily somebody, but something. I would, especially with observational comedy, somebody like Jim Gaffigan, he's not usually making fun of other people. He's making fun of things in the world around us. So that happens. It's hard to just define comedy. People try to do this all the time. A lot of people like it's speaking truth to power. Not all comedy has to do that. Sometimes comedy is just silly.
Well, there are a lot of different ways to do it, which is why a lot of, you can find a lot of things funny, and why people can like different comedians. And
I'm sorry, street trash is trending on Twitter the same day there's that article about the homeless in San Francisco. I'm gonna tweet those together.
See, that's comedy.
See, the thing about what you find funny is the reason you find things funny is because it's something your brain didn't know that was a way you could think about it before. You find it funny because it's new. And
well, I see what you're going for. But that's not always
which
true.
Which is why jokes get old after a while. Because the more times you think about something, you go, yeah, okay, this is not new anymore. This is not entertaining.
I'm sorry, but John Mulaney's Salt and Pepper Diner is never not going to be funny.
Well, I see what you're saying there. And I don't necessarily disagree with you on some of it, but there are comedy shows I can watch over and over and over, and they're funny to me every time. Eddie
Right, but
Izzard's
it's never quite as funny as it was the first time, though.
Eddie Izzard's Dress to Kill, every fucking time I laugh my ass off through that whole thing like a fucking moron. Did you ever watch Jim Stafford? Probably. The name sounds very familiar, but I can't place it.
No, I don't
Jack,
think
I'm
I
not
did.
reading that.
Did you guys see I don't know if you guys watch him, but Daniel, God, what's his name? Daniel Sloss, his newest Netflix, like the double special he did on Netflix.
No. Well, what's his name?
Daniel, I think it's Daniel Sloss.
Daniel Sloss. No,
it's really good.
Does not sound familiar to me at all.
Jack, oh my god.
Yeah, I saw that.
What did he do? Hold on.
Jack Gunsky in chat. It's funny, but I can't read that out loud. There are things I can't read out. George Carlin was awesome. George was amazing. There's a lot of George's stuff though that was just, for me at least, was just interesting. But then there's some it was like, that's funny as fuck. George had a very good way of looking at the world and catching things that most people might not. Plus, he was also unafraid to say things that a lot of people were thinking at the time. He's where I first heard the whole idea about changing language, which is what stuck with me most about George, because that bit, it's still funny as hell, but it had a much deeper message, because at the end of it, he's talking about vets and how maybe if we hadn't changed the wording to post-traumatic stress disorder and just kept calling it shell shock, people would be like, that needs treated. Because post-traumatic stress disorder sounds like something you get when you stub your toe. That's not what he said. That's my retelling of it. But shell shock sounds like, Jesus Christ, we need to get that. This sounds like they went through something horrible in war. We need to get it fixed. Patrice O'Neill always makes me laugh. Patrice was funny on stage. I know a lot of people like listening to him when he was on radio shows and stuff. I don't think he was quite as funny there. He was interesting, but not quite as Jesus Christ. Patrice, what'd you just say?
Well, to that point, it kind of reminds me of how whenever we give hurricanes male names, people are like, oh, fuck, I gotta get out of here. But if you give it something like, ooh, Hurricane Faith, they're like, meh.
Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah. But if you give it like a dude like Hurricane Hitler,
I think everybody would leave if Hurricane Hitler was coming.
Look, next time it's a category, fuck you. Maybe name it Hurricane. Maybe not Hitler. That would be maybe a little offensive. But Hurricane Stalin.
Yeah, name it something scary.
Yeah, like Hurricane
Hurricane Apocalypse or some shit. That's like, oh shit, this is bad. We should probably leave.
Yeah.
Nuts, how you doing, sweetie? It's nice to see you. If they named it Hurricane Stalin, it actually could be a good thing, because I think a lot of liberals would hang around and be washed away.
They'd be like, yay!
And not just liberals, these pinko commie bullshitters who are trying. I'm not a socialist. I'm a democratic socialist. No, you're a fucking commie. Shut up.
Well, look, a democratic socialist just means you're consenting to being a fucking idiot.
So
you're commie. These people are not they're commies.
Yeah, I know.
So guys, I think Shia Gorath won the naming contest, and to keep you from having to look for it, I'm going to put it inside chat here.
Okay.
Where is there's a thing I wanted
Because we were talking about comedy, and I said the Salt and Pepper Diner thing. Now I have What's New Pussycat stuck in my head. And I'm not okay with it.
Let me see. What are we looking at? Oh, yeah, I saw that one. That's the one I said I can't read.
Okay. I think he won.
No, that doesn't fit into the rules.
Oh.
That's racist.
I saw that.
Hurricane ex-wife. There you go, Void Horizon.
Hurricane ex-wife. Oh my god.
I'm gonna throw the link for this into chat if you want to watch it. It's a 2-minute video of this dude, and I'll give you a summary of what he says. But look at the top of this tweet. We all need to seize the means of production.
Who is this from?
The AFL-CIO.
Oh, forgive my something and
union. A big union.
Okay.
We all need to seize the means of production. Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, the Bolsheviks.
Yeah.
The communists take over in Cuba. Everywhere the communists come, we need to. You're talking about revolution. We need to have an armed revolution. You fuck.
And it's funny because even they don't think that they mean that.
Oh yes, they do. Yes, they do. These guys do. I guarantee it.
But the people that are going, yeah, on Twitter don't think that they mean that.
I don't know if they think it or not, but they're morons.
Well, I don't think that they know, because I don't think like the average citizen is like, yeah, I want to go to war against my government.
Well, but this is what the guy talks.
Like, I want to murder my employer.
This is what he talks about in the video. He's talking about we always talk about class, and there's the upper class, the middle class, and the lower class. And he said that's wrong. That's not how we should look at it. And this is where you guys need to know your history to know what they're trying to do here. It's like, no, that's not what it is. There's the people who own businesses. That's the upper class. And then there's the people who work for them. That's the middle class. That's everyone. That's the working class.
Yeah, that's not how middle class works. So okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. I'm sorry. That just set off like, as a history major, I just had to say it. Okay.
Time out. James Colley, thank you. Seize the means of production. Another abortion bill. Oh my God. No, it's not that. Jesus.
I'm going to blow a gasket. Okay.
Okay. Blow your gasket. I'm going to grab a drink. I'm still here. I'm just muted so I can listen.
Okay. So in the concept of communism, so in the concept of having a working class, so in the concept of communism, you wouldn't have a middle class. That's the fucking point. You only have the people who own the businesses and your sorry ass. And that is it. So the people who own the shit and then you who owns nothing. And so what you need to do is murder everybody so that everybody owns everything and also nothing. And so that nobody's in charge of anything, but we're all in charge of something. And that is why anarcho-communism is technically actually communism, but why you would never get to that point, because in order to get to that point, you'd have to have somebody lead you to that point. It's kind of complicated, but the ultimate goal is to live in a nice utopia where nobody's actually leading you, but we're all working in a utopian society that works like a well-oiled machine where everybody just naturally cooperates, because that's how people work. It's not, but but nowhere in there is there any room for a middle class. I get why they're saying it. It's because now, thanks to capitalism, we have a concept of a middle class because capitalism allows for such a thing. So they're saying there's business owners and then you, the middle class, because people who are not in poverty think of themselves as, lower middle class and upper middle class. So it's more modernized, I guess I should say.
Thank you, John. Whispers, white tags. There you go. The problem is these people don't know their history at all, because if you point out any problems with communism, it's like, it was never tried properly. No. You ever had to work on a project with someone else?
Well, that's my point.
If you have to work on a project with somebody at school and you're like, that person didn't pull their weight. Welcome to communism.
The only time a group project has ever worked out, honestly, is the MCU. That kind of went okay.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate, and that's I'll be honest, that's dumb luck at how well that came off. I don't think they can attribute as much as they think as they can to the planning on that part, because bringing all of that together and having it all work was a miracle.
Monkey, you lightweight. I've been drinking for 5 hours. Oh, not that type of. No, I just had to go over to my fridge over there so I could get my soda. I forgot to fill my drink before the start. James wants to know if you have a Streamlabs cast.
I've thought about setting one. Actually, I should get SDA to help me set one up one time.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Because I've been thinking about it, but it's a pain in the ass. And
yeah, it kind of is. But I remember how to do it, so I shall help you.
Okay.
Because now that you're actually doing your gaming stuff regularly, which by the way, subscribe to Chaos Eve. Her gaming streams are good. I will help you set one up.
Aw, you're so sweet.
What else? There was something else I wanted to talk about over here in my profile from the Twitter. How long have I been going, guys? Anybody know?
65 minutes.
It's only been an hour. Wow. I'm gonna get a video out after this. I'm gonna work on a video. Because
can you send that to me? That video.
What video? Oh,
you were just looking at.
I'll tag in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Let me at SDA. There you are. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Miles, thank you so much. Hey, Monkey, why isn't communism looked at as in the same fashion, same as fascism, given its failures? Well,
because fascism is honest.
It is, but it isn't.
It's a lot more honest in its methods. If you want to put it that way.
Here's the thing. Communism on paper sounds like a great thing. Sounds perfect. Everybody doing what's needed for society, and then just getting to go home and relax, and you'll be provided for. What doesn't sound great about that?
And it actually does work on small scales, like less than 100 people.
Well, it works.
You can make it work.
Every single person's family is, if you want to get super technical about it, if you have any kind of family unit, is technically communist. If you want to get technical. Because if you have a kid, then, technically, or you have a family, kids, and all that, technically, you're communist, which that's just if you're describing the actual system that you live in. So on tiny scales, it does work. It's just the second that you start extrapolating that out to people that you don't directly give a shit about, it falls apart.
My point being is they're not really lying about it, because they do believe in it. They do think it's a good thing. And the problem is they don't account for people. They don't account for human nature. They think that, everybody's just going to pitch in and do everything that needs done. And that's just not how the world works.
Which is why it only works on a very small scale when you can manage those people. If you try to manage them on like a national scale, for example, it is very hard to root out those bad apples that will take advantage of the system.
Well, and it doesn't, it doesn't even work on small scales. It might work for a limited time on a small scale. But look, if you have a family with more than one child in it, at one point in time, one of those children is going to go, that's not fair. And right there, communism just stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
It does not work because people. So they're not really lying about what they're trying to sell.
Well, they're lying. What I mean is not necessarily what they're trying to sell. What I mean is the methodology of how you'd actually have to get there.
And the only way to get to real communism is through total government control.
Well, that's what I mean, which is through complete tyranny.
But they don't believe that either.
Well, yeah, because they're idiots. But fascism, on the other hand, is a lot more honest about the methods that it would take to fully realize its goals.
My favorite thing on the internet is people who call themselves anarcho-communists. So I'm like,
well, that's the ultimate goal of communism is to, and it's stupid, don't get me wrong, but the ultimate goal of communism is to push for everybody to just exist in the society where we all work like a well-oiled machine, where everybody is doing what they need to do and all that kind of stuff. And we just don't have a centralized government, which is so fucking dumb. But that's why they are not anarcho-communists. It's stupid.
If you call yourself an anarcho-communist, what you're really saying is, I'm a fucking moron. And that's your right. Do it. Nut says 134 watching, only 51 likes. Really? I don't get a lot of likes on this one unless I beg for them, Nuts. And I wasn't in a begging mood tonight.
Hey guys.
People are the means of production. They must be controlled by the state.
Hey guys, please like the stream. Please. Please like the stream.
By the state. People are controlled by lots of things. Greed is a powerful motivator. Very powerful motivator. That's why capitalism does work, is because it plays to people's, it plays to human nature. I want more. Arrest Mnuchin. Why is the hashtag resistance on this right now? His dad bought a $90 million metal rabbit. What? You people are stupid. Because Scott Dworkin, Mr. Resistance. God, that guy's a dumbass. But 15,000 people retweeted it, because there's at least 15,000 dumbasses over on the Twitter machine. Oh, man.
Pop-Tarts that just keep E from ASMR and I'll like the fucking stream. She is one of the few in that boat that doesn't like to hear me do that.
Mnuchin needs to stop spending. Mnuchin doesn't have to address the subpoena until the court tells him he has to, you dumbasses. That's what don't you guys understand about the separation of powers? This is stuff that needs to be decided by the courts that never has been. Stop it. God, I hate. I love Twitter because it's a shit show, but man, it shows me how dumb our world is.
Right.
And I know we read the story, that Twitter's not a good example of the rest of the world, but come on. Oh, man. I've been using my Facebook a lot again because my people over there miss me. My family actually thinks I'm funny, so it's the only reason I go over there. What else do I have going on today? SDA, what was your last video about?
Shit. Oh, it was about abortion.
Oh. Yeah, I was finally glad to see that fell off the radar today. It's amazing how, that's another thing with Twitter. It's amazing how upset everybody can be. The whole world is pissed off, and then the next day, like, what were we talking about?
Yeah. Although it's really, like, no matter how I feel about it personally, the best course of action on both sides is to just leave it how it was under the federal law, because that is the most reasonable place. What am I trying to say? Oh my God.
I don't know what you're trying to say. I'm not in your brain.
I know. It's the most reasonable place, realistically speaking, to leave it. It's just operationally that doesn't make any sense. It's just what works the best.
I disagree.
I guess
it needs to go to states. Let them decide what they want, and if you don't like your state law, move to a different state or try to change the law. Border Patrol to fly migrants from Texas to California 3 times a week to ease overcrowding. Ooh, that's not going to go well.
Where they're moving migrants from where to where?
Texas to San Diego for processing.
To get them out?
Yeah, the U.S. Border Patrol said Friday that it would fly hundreds of migrant families from South Texas to San Diego for processing, and that it was considering flights to Detroit, Miami, and Buffalo, New York. The flights are the latest sign of how the Border Patrol is struggling to keep up with the large number of Central American families that are reaching the U.S. border especially in Texas. Moving migrants to less crowded places is expected to distribute the workload more evenly. How about you flying back to Mexico? Point him south. Pat him on the ass, tell him, and wish him good luck. I'm just throwing that out there.
Don't touch the Mexican butt.
All right, give him a nice pat on the shoulder. How about that?
There you go. I mean, if you don't like have your ass patted, then maybe they don't either. So you don't know.
Might. I'm nobody's daddy. Well, I am, but I'm not their daddy. Short flights cost the federal government about $6,000 each, official said. Is that how many people do you stick on one of those flights? Can you pack them in like sardines? Why not?
Well, they are illegal. Sorry.
I mean, that's how they're used to traveling, right? Just stick them in the back of a giant truck. They're used to that. Border Patrol says it's detaining about 8,000 people at a time in the Rio Grande Valley, double its maximum capacity, even with a 500-person tent it opened earlier this month. Damn. Turn them around, send them back. See, this is what Trump was talking about, and they'd be like, he's being racist again. No, he's not. We don't have room. We can't do this. And not all of these people are running from political oppression. Fuck off. Politician or lawmaker apologizes for what? Missouri lawmaker apologizes for using the term consensual rapes in abortion bill debate. The fuck is a consensual rape? Except, I know there's times I've been aggressive because the missus wanted it aggressive, but that's still not rape. Doug says you could be anybody's daddy, monkey. Oh, who's your daddy?
I didn't like that.
A Missouri lawmaker, well, that's just because that made you go, ooh, wet. A Missouri lawmaker walked back comments he made Friday during a debate over a restrictive anti-abortion bill on the floor of the Missouri State House. Republican Representative Barry Hovis apologized for using the term consensual rapes, saying he misspoke during the intense debate to ban abortions in the state at 8 weeks before any women can even know they're pregnant. What was he trying to say? I'm not trying to make excuses, Hovis said. Sometimes you make a mistake and you own up to it. What was he trying to say? That's my question. Hang on. I'm trying to listen to this.
Everybody gets real quiet. That wasn't me ASMR, and I was just
my stutter is really bad right now. I'm really sorry.
He was oh yeah, he used a bad I'm gonna god damn it, why is this so long? I hate when you go from a story that has a tweet linked in it, and the URL is way too fucking long because they have to add in, yeah, you can come see us at this place. Fuck off. I'll shorten this, but he was not trying. Oh God. Okay, so what he's talking about is he's trying to make a case that I don't know what he was trying to make the case for, but the other term he used, he goes, most of the rapes that we hear about are date rapes, and then I don't know what else he was going to say, but then he says consensual rapes. Maybe he meant I don't know what he meant. What the fuck would you be trying to say when you said consensual rapes? There's the link to the where you can watch the actual Hovis, a 30-year veteran of the Cape Police Department who was first elected to a state government in 2018, was talking about the sexual assault charges cases he handled as an officer, saying most weren't strangers who jump out of bushes. Okay, but I still don't know what he meant or what he was going to say instead of. Maybe he meant what's the word? Rapes by people you know. What would be a word for that for people you know?
Familiar rape?
Familiar, yeah. Familiar rape, something like that. Not consensual rapes. Jesus, fuck. Damn
Am
it.
I contagious?
Are you contagious? No, I'm like this all the time. I am the least professional monkey on the internet, y'all. Can't get pregnant, body shut it down. Yeah, we had that stupid ass comment too. I've been a victim of consensual rape. The woman was consensual, then tried to claim rape. Oof. Sorry to hear that, Yoda. That's regret rape. That's bullshit. I agreed to everything, but he took advantage of me. Shut up.
Well, it makes you wonder why. It's no wonder why they do the consent form thing now. I mean, why there's some groups advocating for such a thing, because not only does that, protect the women, but it protects men from being falsely accused. He can go, no, look, I got a piece of paper saying this bitch was okay with this shit when we started it.
Yeah, but see, the problem with that is if they say no at any time, you're supposed to stop. So it doesn't matter if they consented like that. It doesn't. I mean, I get what you're saying, but those don't help you.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
We literally have women who like, I said yes the whole way, but it was rape because I really didn't want to. Like, but you said, yeah, right? Well, yeah, but it was still rape. And they're like, yeah, she was raped. No, dumbass. That's not what rape is, you stupid fuck. He's a closeted feminist, something all sex. Oh, all sex. I see what you're saying there. Cigar Chomping Penguin says, I remember reading an article a few years ago where a rapist walked on charges because his victim told him to put on a condom first. The court ruled that was consent. So maybe that. No, he misspoke. From the sounds of it, he was, I mean, with what that article said, he was trying to say that it wasn't a stranger coming out and raping you or breaking into your house and raping you. It was a friend or a date, something like that, a familiar setting.
Kevin Dugan in chat says, how about just getting married first? Oh, no, honey.
No, that don't count either.
That doesn't save you, because then you get a spiteful bitch that you're married to who accuses you of rape and then turns around and sues you for everything you're worth when she divorces you.
Indeed. Mattress Girl should have met with an accident. Mattress Girl is a great case of the shit that we have going on now that needs cleaned up. I don't know why that came up in an abortion debate. There's the argument in abortion, the baby didn't do anything, so punishing it is wrong. But I still can't bring myself to tell a woman that she needs to carry a reminder of what happened to her for 9 months. That's seems cold. That seems cold.
That's why when I made my abortion video, because it was kind of like Shout Your Abortion 2.0, like the one set of tweets that I left out were like, I'm like, I can't really comment and or especially directly make fun of anybody who is like, I was raped. I'm like, I got nothing to say, especially make fun of. I got nothing. I'm done on that front.
Yeah. I said tonight on Lords of the Night, if they wanted to make it where you capped it at the end of the first trimester, anything after that has to be life of the mother, I could live with it. I still wouldn't be happy because I'm pro-life, but at least then it's like, okay, fair enough.
Well, that's where I am. I'm very pro-life, but also when it comes to real policy, I guess it's hard to be an idealist.
But the other problem is and me and Satsu talked about this on Lords of the Night the other night. Anytime you talk about this, I'm against abortion. Oh, what about rape? Are you saying that you only want abortion in the case of rape? Well, no, then shut up.
Right. Because if you only want abortion in cases of rape, then let's talk about that.
But that's never what it is. That's only ever brought up as I got you. I got you.
Yeah. It's like, no, you don't got me. Let's have that conversation, but you don't want to have that conversation.
The overwhelming majority of abortion is birth control. It just is.
Well, it's like how Pauly says when he's debating people about guns. And the person obviously wants to ban all guns, but they don't ever come out with that argument and say that. They just go, well, I think we should just have stricter background checks and blah, blah, blah. But when you really get down to brass tacks, what they ultimately want is to ban all guns. So that's where they end up anyway. They just spend half an hour to an hour arguing you through that.
Oh, sure.
To the point of so instead of just being genuine and honest and saying, this is what I want,
Well, I mean, they can't because they know that's not a popular opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned this with gun control before. If they would just come out and admit, yes, we want to get rid of all guns, at least then I could take them seriously. Mm-hmm. But after every show, we need smaller magazine sizes. We need to ban bump stocks. We need a background check and a registry. Like, will any of those things stop what happened? No, but we need them all for safety.
But for safety of what?
Yeah, we need all of those.
For the safety of the things and the stuff and things. Well, you want them to stop school shootings. How would it stop school shootings specifically? It wouldn't. All right. Well, so why?
I got in a lot of trouble with the whole magazine size because it's like, well, you can't have a magazine bigger than 10.
Why not?
Like, so you think it's okay to kill 10 children? Well, no. Well, then why are you saying it's okay to have 10? That's what you're saying when you're going, we need to bring down the magazine size because I'm only comfortable with killing 10 people at a time.
Well, yeah, because that's not what they mean, and like we're saying.
Because they don't think.
Right.
They just don't.
Because they're trying to back you into a corner and not give you the real argument. And it's like, let's just have that conversation, because another issue with the abortion debate is that it all comes down to, at the end of the day, and this is why we are stuck in this spot with abortion that we're fucking stuck in, is that people can't freaking agree where life begins. And I don't think that anybody really disagrees that life does begin at conception. I really don't think they do. I think they just go with it. But I think if everybody can just fucking agree that at the very least pregnancy begins, then okay, so at the very least you're stopping the life from happening and exiting a womb. Great. Okay? No, so can we just talk about when it's okay to kill someone?
You're wrong here. You're wrong here about the whole people agree that conception. It's not. And there's a reason that they've painted themselves in this corner, because nobody wants to say, yes, I want to kill this baby. Nobody hears that a woman who wanted to get pregnant got pregnant and goes, oh, what sex are you hoping the fetus is? And I had somebody in chat one time go, I say that. I'm like, okay, yeah, there's always one asshole out there. But 99.999.
I said in my video, I was like, I'm beginning to think that actually I'm a psychopath might be the one good argument.
Unlike Scribe, I will mute you.
For abortion. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Talk over me again. No, you can. What were we saying?
Nothing. I was just saying, like, in some of the tweets, God, some of the people are fucking psychopaths.
But these people, they don't want to just admit what they actually want, whether it's gun control, abortion, any of this. Nobody wants to just say it. And that's why we can't have honest conversations about this stuff. We just can't. Because the only way to stop school shootings, to stop them, is to literally go inch by inch across the country and get rid of all the guns. That's it. That's the only way. And then to put a big barrier around us, believe me, walls work, to where no other guns can possibly ever get in. That's it. You have to get rid of guns to stop school shootings. That's how it works. You might, the whole thing with background checks. We need background checks at gun shows. How many guns at gun shows have been used in a mass shooting? How many guns sold at gun shows have been used in mass shootings? Yep. When the Aurora shooting and the Sandy Hook shooting happened close enough to each other that I was having this argument with morons. In the Aurora shooting, that motherfucker passed a background check. In the Sandy Hook shooting, that motherfucker failed one. and they still were able to do it. The crazy guy, the guy who shouldn't have passed a background check, did, and killed a bunch of people in a theater. The guy who failed his background check, he just stole some guns. They do background checks at gun shows. I know. Calm down. Calm down. This is the argument they make.
Well, and with Parkland, they called the cops on this kid a whole bunch of times. They tried to get in touch with the FBI. They did everything they were supposed to do. And they were still like, eh.
We just need honest arguments, and we can't have them. Look, I'm not good with any kids dying, but I am for gun control. And unfortunately, that means sometimes people are going to get shot who shouldn't. Or not for gun control, sorry, gun rights. So sometimes people are going to, that's the price of freedom. Bad shit can happen. And you know what?
Yeah.
I like freedom. If I die because some random asshole decides to shoot up a place I'm in, I don't want guns to go away. You know why? Because shit happens. Because the sheriff told his guys to stand down. Even before that, Rebecca. I mean, this guy was on the police radar for a long time. The kid from Parkland.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't that. I mean, for months, they were saying, hey, this kid is killing small animals and posting it to Instagram. This kid is doing all sorts of all sorts of disturbing things. You guys should look into it. Hey, FBI, you guys should do something about this. And they had that information and they didn't do jack shit. And they had information that they could have actually acted on. So it wasn't just, we think this guy looks a little shady around the eyes. It wasn't just, some bullying. We think he looks funky. I mean, he was doing...
we bullied him and now he looks crazy.
Well, yeah, it wasn't that. It was actual stuff he was doing that they could have actually taken action on, but they just didn't.
And on that front, though, I also have a problem with prosecuting somebody before they actually did anything.
Oh, that is a huge issue. But he was actually killing small animals in that case. That kid. You can't just torture small animals.
I get you. I do, but
that's animal. It's actually animal cruelty.
If you got an animal cruelty charge on him, fine.
That's what they would have had on him. I'm not saying just go after someone for being creepy, because another thing that I wholeheartedly disagree with too is whenever with gun background checks, they're also like, we should be able to do a mental health evaluations and see into your mental health records. No. Go fuck yourself.
Hang on. Bodacious says, man, you Americans love your guns a bit too much. I get it, but Jesus fucking Christ.
Go sit in the fucking corner.
Calm down. Let me finish reading it.
Sorry.
Now I have to read it again because people didn't get to hear it.
Okay.
It says, Jesus fucking Christ, something's in the water there. Yeah, we love our guns. You know why? They're cool.
Well, it's not even so much that, but
they are cool.
We came up in our country was founded on the entire premise that our government had become too tyrannical, and the only way we were able to defend ourselves was to take up arms and to make our own country. And so it's kind of been one of the staples of our entire existence. It's why it's our Second Amendment right behind free speech, So to say that we love our guns isn't because we love the guns, because, like I said, because they're cool. It's because
guns are cool.
They're important. The right to bear arms is very important to us.
And I get what you're saying. However, if the people decided to take up gun or arms against the federal government, I don't care how many AR-15s you have, it's not going to stop an F-16. We would be fucked. The Army could take us over. It's not like, I get what you're saying. And back in the day, that's absolutely right. But at this point, it is personal protection. It is some protection against a tyrannical government. But for the most part, they're cool.
I would say initially that's what it was. Right now, if the government decided to fuck us over, we're fucked.
Yeah, we are, because they fuck. They could destroy us.
Well, yeah, and at this point, it's more of a symbol, and it's also just part of American culture.
It is, because they're cool.
Yeah, well, yeah, and also, you know, we're all going to be damned before we lose that part of our culture. It's part of our independent streak.
Assassin of the Gray says the U.S. military would not fire on U.S. citizens. They would if there was an armed insurrection.
I mean, they've done it before. Well, the Brits, but
no, I mean, even here,
the Civil War.
Yeah, that's true too.
I mean, if you had a bunch of people who are like, we're going to take over the government, and they took over like the White House and started storming DC, you don't think our military would come out and go, sorry, I got to shoot you?
To rest the history student just forgot that the Civil War was a thing.
Yes, it was. It was indeed. Oh.
In fairness to her, she's a Western Civ major.
You're an American woman. There are two wars all Americans should know about: the Civil War and the Revolutionary War.
My brain is completely off.
Stephen, yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell that out there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My brain is off right now. I'm very sorry.
Polly, my friend, can you hear me yet?
I can. Sadly, I've been listening to you for the last 2 minutes say things that are deadly incorrect. What monkey?
What am I saying that's deadly incorrect? Guns are cool.
Guns are very cool, but I mean, there's really no way that anybody, because an F-16, I don't care how many AR-15s you have, it's just such a misrepresentation of the point.
No, I get the point. I'm saying it's irrelevant at this point.
No, the point. Okay.
Bring it.
Why don't you? Okay, the U.S. military actually brought to full force and bear against a civilian group.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, they're going to absolutely destroy them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Ask the U.S. military how that worked out for them in Iraq or Vietnam when they're going up against dirt farmers and rice farmers.
In Vietnam, they were held back by political issues, and same thing in Iraq, actually. How long did it take us to get from Kuwait to Baghdad?
Conquest is easy, control is not, and that's what we're talking about, isn't it? Going up against another army? I would not give any other army on earth a moment's chance against the U.S. Army, but that's not the point. We're talking about civilian control, and the U.S. Army is not willing to get Roman about it. Are they willing to round up 5,000 citizens and say another soldier dies and these 5,000 die? Because the Romans were. American military is not willing to do that.
Ooh, you know who is even more willing to do that? The Byzantines. 35,000 people dead in the Hippich. Sorry, I love the Byzantine Empire. I'm going to.
Well, there you go. Or Russian purges under Stalin. I mean, is that really going to happen? The whole point, like, I mean, I hear you, Monkey. I understand the point you're making, but you really need to think about it along realistic, pragmatic lines. Why did Adolf Hitler not invade Switzerland? Because in the words of one of his generals, it would be a shootout at every farmhouse. Is it really worth the trouble? It's the buttress against a tyrannical government of an armed population.
So what do you think they would do? They would just stand down? They go, oh, they got guns. Don't go in there. Give them South Carolina.
It's the idea of an armed insurrection never. It never pops up like that. I mean, as you know, you said there's two wars that every American should know: the Civil War and the Revolutionary War. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Unfortunately, the one war that happened in between them, one major war that happened in between, is the one everyone forgets about when the American Capitol got burned. Yes, we were invaded. But in any case, I agree with you. How did the Revolutionary War start? Through an act of gun control. We're going to seize the magazine of arms at Concord. And when the British marched out there to do it, they're like, no, we're not going to disarm. Why did they want to disarm them first? Because population control is a hell of a lot easier when nobody's armed. Because they can't make militias. Well, but the British at that time were the finest military fighting force in the world. And they were fighting a bunch of farm boys with their father's muskets. So what's the threat? They didn't have a navy. So what's the threat? Well, they were all armed, and population control is extremely difficult. Like it was in Iraq, like it was in Vietnam.
And if it wasn't for the French coming in, they would have quashed us.
That was military versus military. How much faster would it have happened then? They would have quashed Washington's army. They would have waylaid the entire population under their control. Like I said, Destroying an army is one thing. Controlling an entire population, unless you're willing to get Byzantine, like SDA says, that's hard.
We're talking about rising up against the government to stop them from doing something. Pick a subject, doesn't matter. But you think that, what do you think the government's going to do? They're going to go, oh no, they have guns.
I don't understand the confusion. I can point out, and I already did point out one historical example of Hitler not willing to go into Switzerland. Well, the terrain's too difficult and everybody there is armed.
You picked out Hitler going into Switzerland. You're not talking about Hitler not defending his own country against his countrymen. You're talking about the difference of invading someone and defending your own territory.
Well, since we are talking about Hitler and Germany in general, let's talk about Germany under the Weimar Republic. Why did they institute so much gun control? Because the communists and the Nazis were banging it out in the streets, the brown shirts and so forth. The last thing they wanted to do was have them armed. Well,
yeah,
fighting.
You're talking about, I'm agreeing with you. I'm not for gun control or any of that. I'm saying even without gun control, the idea that an armed insurrection would change the course of the rest of our history is insane. That our government would send our military in there and quash it like a motherfucker.
No, they wouldn't. First of all, it's not a viable idea. Look at the flashback the backlash. There's the word I'm looking for. That one California moron elected official got when he said, "Well, we're the one with nuclear arms that you're going to use against U.S. civilians." Yeah, good luck with that one. If you want a full-on second war on your hands, by the time secession of states starts, and now it's a full-on war, it's not a matter of population control anymore. And it's a good goddamn thing that they, either side, the Union or the Confederacy, didn't allow themselves to be disarmed. So they had arms to fight a war. Isn't that the whole point? So that they could farm militias and could form an organized military unit?
Sure.
I mean, but that is the point. It's the buttress against these things happening. It's the threat of it. That everybody out there is fucking armed. Police control's not easy, so you have to call in the National Guard. The National Guard's only effective in small areas because it's not that large. So you're going to call in the military force proper. At what point does the entire population say, enough of this? This has turned into a fucking tyrannical government. The government knows that. How far are they going to push it?
Time out. Assassin of the Gray says, Monkey, you do not know how the U.S. military operates. We swear an oath to the Constitution, not a man. I understand that. And the Constitution would have you defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and what's that last word? Domestic.
And how I don't understand how what was that, a mic drop? That was pretty weak. Let me tell you why. Because
defending against
because a civilian leader, a civilian leader who's talking about using weapons of mass destruction against American civilians will be recognized as the domestic enemy really quick when generals start refusing orders.
So suddenly that guy born in California is a foreigner. That guy who's a United States citizen is a foreigner because he's taken up arms against the U.S. That's your argument?
No, I know.
That's what you just said. He'd be foreign real quick. I believe that's the exact quote.
No, I said then if that's what I said because I was talking quick, then I misspoke because that's not at all what I was saying. I was saying you're saying foreign and domestic. And I said the leader who's ordering them to strike against civilian targets would very quickly become the domestic enemy when generals start refusing orders.
Yeah, he'd be the domestic enemy, the one that the U.S. would go after. That's what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about
the leader. I'm talking about the leader. The leader saying, yeah, let's just wipe them out with some F-16 carpet bombing.
Oh, you're
fucking Southern California.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So if let's pretend a new civil war starts. Virginia declares themselves independent again and takes up arms and starts firing on U.S. civilians or even U.S. military. You think that if President Trump sent the military in there to fix that situation, everybody would be like, oh, Trump's the bad guy here?
Well, it would never. Well, it doesn't proceed like that, does it? Because you're jumping ahead to the point where like the army is suddenly making a move. You don't do that. You send police forces in there. They don't work to quell the local population. Then you call in the National Guard. When the National Guard is only able to, because they're only so big, only able to handle certain uprisings in certain areas, then you call in the military with posse comitatus, of course, stopping that because it's completely unconstitutional to use U.S. proper military forces against the U.S. population. It's extremely illegal and explicitly forbidden. But let's say, okay, so the president says, fuck it, I want to do it anyway. This has gone on so far and so long that police forces can't do anything about it. The National Guard can't do anything about it. There's going to be fucking bodies stacked in the streets by this point. And this person is then saying, oh, I want to send in the military now with F-16s for carpet bombing. And they're going to be looking at Trump as the bad guy. Fuck yes.
Okay, you really have a problem with F-16s. How about
you said it, I did.
You're right, and that has really upset you because that's the only thing they can do is the F-16s. What about an Abrams? What about Brad? What about what else do we have? Any of our ground stuff? What about that stuff? They would never.
The Abrams is as ridiculous as the stealth bomber is as ridiculous as the F-16 was. I was going off the first ridiculous sample. You excited?
Okay,
let's just call ridiculous levels of military force.
Yes, ridiculous levels. You've just said the police can't stop it. The National Guard can't stop it. So at that point, what you think Trump is going to do is go, fuck, we can't stop this. Well, I guess Virginia's gone.
No, they won't let it go.
What? Well, what's going to happen?
Well, Lincoln
didn't use the military. You've already told me that. So what happens when the other two steps, your other two stages, don't work? They're never going to use the military. What happens? Everybody just stops because fuck, the National Guard didn't work. Everybody put down arms. It's over. We're what? What happens?
I'm surprised at your belief in the extent of how far federal power extends, that murdering civilians on the levels that you're talking about by the U.S. military blowing away their own countrymen isn't going to be met with more resistance than that. You said every American should say the American Revolutionary War and the Civil War. I agree. And in the Civil War, was it that easy to do? Or was Lincoln cast as a constant murderer? He was at the time. He was the one who called up 120,000 troops to invade the South. There's a reason Southerners, some still call it the War of Northern Aggression. They were the ones that were invaded, which is true.
It's absolutely true. And it changed the entire course of our country. Because until that point, secession should have been absolutely legal.
Well, okay, that's neither here nor there, because it's sort of, look how quickly the dominoes fell in terms of secession as soon as the pressure against Charleston, South Carolina, the first to secede, if memory serves. The secessionitis, as they called it at the time, took hold. Everybody starts seceding, of course, because they felt the increasing pressure from Washington. This is a tyrannical government. They saw it as their second revolution against, like, this is how fast it can happen. We are the United States of America, after all. And the first to secede, in my opinion, would be Texas, not Virginia. But I hear your point.
I was just going,
but I don't understand like how quickly people would line up on the side of the people that are being invaded by their own military, because they did in the first Civil War.
And
secessionitis took hold really quick. Look how fast those dominoes of we're leaving the Union fell.
James Colley, thank you so much. Polly, our government has done it before in modern history. Remember Kent State.
Okay, first of all, Kent State is a bad example for a whole host of reasons, and that was the National Guard. And it was, when you look at the 4 people being shot, you consider that a civil uprising, and the people that were actually shot weren't even the people that were protesting.
But they fired on our citizens.
To what extent did that stop the riots that happened in Watts, that followed, in Detroit that followed, and so on? It sure knocked everybody right the fuck back in line. How much further do you think that the federal government could have pushed that before there was a revolt? Look at the fucking problems it caused. Just 4 people who weren't protesters being shot on a university campus.
Yeah, 4 who weren't, and they still shot at them.
So imagine James Colley and Monkey when the bodies are stacked so deep that you don't have time to bury them.
But there's also,
we're talking just 4 dead people on a campus, and look, people are still talking about it, whatever the fuck, dozens of years later.
And the point there is just that, do you really think the military would fire on civilians? Yes, I do. I really think they would do it if civilians are firing back. And I think if it came down to it, the citizens firing at the military versus the military firing at them, the military is going to win that one every time.
I don't understand the I don't understand the speed that you go to. I don't know. It's like you've played too many video games where it's all military versus military and who has the superior weaponry wins. That's not the way the things work in the real world. I mean, America has a superior technological forces to bring to bear to win any war. But look how long population control takes in Iraq and Afghanistan. Oh, right, we're still there.
You seem to be upset at the notion of what I said, that the idea that having guns is going to give you the chance for armed insurrection is at all plausible in modern society. What part of that is wrong?
Well, you said it makes me upset. What makes me upset is somebody speaking from a position with a voice of authoritative knowledge when you actually have none on that. Nobody does. It hasn't played out like that. The whole point in having it is to resist tyranny. You said at this point in our history, it's really because they're cool. You minimized it to an unbelievable degree. And did that upset me? Hell yeah, because it's just dead wrong. The whole point is to have an armed population.
Shrouded Angel, thank you so much for the donation. One, I do think that it's cool. I don't think for a moment that the idea that the armed population could stand up to our military is feasible in any way. If you only bought a gun because you think that you can stand up to the powers that be in Washington, you're wrong.
And this is the speed to which you go to the ultimate extent of it, where it's
okay. Well,
there's no way that there's a bunch of people with civilian arms cannot stand up to the U.S. military. I conceded that point immediately. I said that's not a problem. My point is, by the time it got there, it would be an outright civil war. And the people that are the button pushers and the Joint Chiefs of Staff and so on think these matters out a lot further than, well, we got no choice. We got to fucking carpet bomb them now. Send in the fucking tanks, because there's a couple of people that have started taking over a town hall in podunk nowhere.
Hang on. Do you think when the U.S. government is passing a law that they're actually sitting there thinking, we got to be careful about this because it might cause a small arms insurrection somewhere that will have to send the police in over, or that will have to send the National Guard in over? Do you think that's a consideration when they're passing laws?
It's a general question, but I guess vaguely I would say no.
So then I'm failing to see your point here, because it's never going to go to civil war.
Because the speed with which you pass a law is also the same speed with which you order tanks in to take over a fucking town and murder people, because that's a comparable thing. Where's your failure to understand that? Those are completely dichotomous things.
Spell that out for me a little bit. I don't understand what you just said.
You said, does the federal government think when they're passing a law, do they think that they're going to need to send the army in there because there might be an uprising? That's the question you asked me.
I said police, your first step, police or the National Guard.
Yeah, but we're talking about an aggressive military becoming tyrannical. We're talking about an aggressive government
becoming tyrannical. I'm not talking about the government.
I said that's why I corrected and said government.
Or government.
We're not talking about that. That's exactly what we're talking about. The whole point in our population is to, my entire point is still the same as I started. The whole point in an armed population is to serve as a buttress against a tyrannical government. And I still hold true to that. And the reason why is because it slows down any government who wants to put too much pressure on its citizenry, because I know that they're all fucking armed. And if they start pushing it, things are going to get ugly the further they push it.
Let me ask you a question.
And they're going to have, and this is my point, they're going to have no choice but to go to bringing in the fucking National Guard on larger and larger levels, and eventually, like you said, resorting to the military. If you don't think that they consider that calculus, you're wrong. By the time they've already sent the National Guard, and it's like during the Los Angeles riots, for example, send in the National Guard. They didn't exhaust the National Guard, but you don't think that they were sitting there thinking about it? What if we can't get these people to stop rioting? Of course they did. What happens if they start firing back? Well, that's a fucking civil war, and they're armed as fuck despite California gun laws. It's like they considered those things as opposed to the consideration that would happen under a situation like this. Well, fuck it. None of them have guns, so who the fuck cares? Totally different considerations. An armed population is always more difficult to control than a disarmed one.
I never said they weren't. Did I?
So our entire conversation is like,
well,
I said I thought you were wrong because you said the only reason to have the Second Amendment is because guns are cool. You made it an exclusive claim because it's pointless for there to be an armed population because ultimately an F-16 will come in, was your point. So therefore pointless.
No. My point there, and especially using the F-16 as an example, is that the idea that you can stop a tyrannical government who has an army like ours at their disposal is absurd. But let me ask you something before we get any further into this.
Okay.
Define tyranny. Do you think there's people out there who think Donald Trump is a tyrant? I can tell you there are. I see him on Facebook every day.
Yeah.
I see him on Twitter every day.
Oh, so does everyone else. Go on.
So as you say, it's to stop a tyrannical government. Who gets to make that decision? Who gets to decide that's the this is the tyrant we must stop? Real quick, I got to get these. Hang on. Insomniac Savage, thank you so much for the donation with no message. If there was something you meant to say, throw it into chat and I will read it. If not, still thank you anyway. And Stephen M, thank you so much. Are any of you military? What level of know-how are you speaking of? Do you understand the military doesn't teach you to disobey orders? Yes, I do. But the military does tell you cannot you cannot follow a what's the word I'm looking for? An illegal order. You can actually be court-martialed for that. For obeying a horrible order. We saw quite a bit of that in Vietnam. Following an order just because it was given to you is not, you're not a robot. You're supposed to do what you're told. Unlawful order. Thank you so much, Scrappy. Fuck, man, my brain. Anyway, Polly, I did not mean to interrupt you there. Please go ahead. I'm sorry.
You were making a point about who gets to decide when when something is tyrannical or not, because Donald Trump is accused of being a tyrant. You asked me how I'm going to define tyrannical. I'm assuming you meant that as a rhetorical question because you said it's open to somebody's interpretation when something's tyrannical. I don't understand how that relates to the uselessness of the Second Amendment as a buttress against tyranny. I don't understand. You know, the definition for tyranny is up, and armed rebellions happen at different times, at different points, at different levels of tyrannical oppression. Sure, but I don't really understand how that relates to the main point that we're talking about, where the only purpose of the Second Amendment at this point in time is that guns are cool. If you want to backtrack that and say, no, there are other reasons, by all means, I'm all ears. But think you still are holding to the exclusive claim that the only reason in the current year for the Second Amendment is that guns are cool.
You're right. I do need to amend that, because some people do use them to hunt so they can eat.
Real quick, Insomniac Savage did send a message. Says, Monkey, look at Venezuela. The people have been systematically starved for years. And do you think that would be happening if 1/3 of the homes were armed? Could happen in the States with Bernie or AOC.
Yes, I still think it could happen even if you're armed. I think I don't think, other than using the gun to hunt, I don't think that there's, what were they going to do? Stand up against the Venezuelan military? Well, maybe, I don't know how strong their military is, but if you're talking about here in the US, what are you going to do? Seriously, do you think an armed population against our military is going to win? And I know, Polly, you hate that I keep going to that, but that is the ultimate goal. If what you're saying is it's to stand up to tyranny, then the ultimate goal would be, at some point, we could overthrow this government. We could stop what's happening in this tyrannical government and get something else back in there. Get something else in there that's better, that's not going to be like that. And there is no way in hell that that's going to happen. Our military is too strong.
So well, I'm not going to go down that path.
No,
No, because it's arguing the hypotheticals that I think gets us further away from the original point. So now you're willing to concede that guns are cool, self-defense, and eating, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like subsistence hunting.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So the actual original purpose is if there's going to be a constant standing army in the US, that the ratifiers of the Constitution insisted that there be a federal provision against a disarmed population. Because that was the idea, the counterbalance to a constant standing army. If the federal government can call up soldiers, then we need to have a right to keep and bear arms such that militias can be formed if they ever need to. You think that that's dated and out of date?
I do, yeah.
So I don't know. I find it surprising that you would be willing.
Can we just feel bad for SDA that there is not a hybrid course for fucking film appreciation?
No. Frank, thank you so much. 35 million guns owned by over 100 million American citizens versus 2 million in the military. Most of our military would be on our side too. Would they be? Are you sure about that? What pick the reason we started the conflict. How do you even know all 350 million guns would be on your side?
Because when you think about, look, from top leadership all the way down in the Confederacy, from Robert E. Lee being asked by Lincoln himself to lead the army, no, I cannot lead an army against my own country.
Yeah.
And of course, Lee, speaking of Virginia at the time, and many soldiers, no, I'm not going to invade my own country. I'm not going to do this. The Confederacy is on the right side here.
Yep.
You're the one, President Lincoln, who called up 120,000 soldiers and invaded them, not the other way around. So I believe that Lincoln was on the right side of that, but this is force versus force. Imagine how much the point being brought up of would people be, I'm not going to fight this fight in the military. Yes, it would be happening all over from, if history is going to maintain that same pattern. Yeah. From leadership on down, there would people that would not be willing to fight that fight. If the historical pattern holds, maybe not. I'm not trying to say I have a crystal ball. Maybe everybody in the military would line up and follow orders like 10 soldiers, possibly, but I don't see it.
You would have people lining up on each side, and okay, let pick a reason we're going to war with each other. Pick a reason. What about abortion? Let's say that's the one. That's the spark. Do you think a lot of people in the military are going to be like, I really like that abortion. I'm going to break our country apart. Do you think, I mean, because abortion is basically the same thing we were fighting about then. It was a states' rights issue. The states, their rights were getting fucked left and right. And they're like, we're not putting up with this shit anymore. You become too tyrannical. We're going to break off. I'm not going to be part of you anymore. And the federal government is like, the fuck you aren't.
The original issue.
And that was
I mean, hypothetical situations of why a war might start, like it
matters.
The causes thereof are they're there. But when it becomes a shooting war, it becomes a shooting war.
Okay.
I mean, when you have Boston occupied by the British Navy and the British and the soldiers there, it's like we need to relieve that city. And that's when a national army is called up and the militias are formed during the American Revolution to go relieve that city of that military occupation. Okay. So my point being is, like, at that point, are they really sitting there arguing about taxes on tea? No, it's that our colonies, our countrymen are being occupied. Now it's time to do something about it. Now it's become a full-on shooting war. My point is, I find it odd, the speed to which you go, the frivolousness that you assign to civilian and military leaders in their desire to flippantly use force against Americans in an ever-increasing way, all the way up to ridiculous levels of military power.
Who said it was flippantly? We're talking about rising up against the U.S. government.
No. I'm talking about resisting when they send in this force and this increasing force. How much further are they going to push it? Why doesn't America end every fucking war with atomic warfare instantly? because by your military calculus, it should be immediate. Because who can stand up against a nuclear assault from America?
Hey, boys.
Yes.
While this masculine argument thing is really hot, I think you're kind of boring, chat.
Chat will be fine.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm really turned on, but
Me too. But
You'll be fine. Me and Polly haven't had a good argument in a long time. I'm enjoying this.
I am just dismayed that, like, I don't know, like it's kind of like you view yourself as a kept man by an occupying force that's irresistible that you could not possibly do anything against. So what's the point?
I think the way you do it is politically these days. I don't think you do it by force anymore. Not in our country. It's not possible.
I don't think that things would unfold in the way that you're seeing them, with the rapidity to military violence being inflicted in that way, like to the extreme of it. I'm not saying that it couldn't go there. Yes, it could, but you go from. I find it fascinating how quick you assign revolution to a group that there's a whole bunch of people uprising and trying to take over, Capitol Hill. This is like bizarro fantasies right out of the Turner Diaries or something. I mean, it's not a realistic situation, and any more than it is for the federal government to call in crushing military force against civilians.
You never answered before. What happens when your police don't work, your National Guard don't work? What happens?
No, I already did answer that. I said
by
the time that it's gotten that far, you would have to call in military force, and there would be it would be such a bloody, disgusting situation that you're looking at a civil war, no longer just contained crowd control within a given county. It would have spread long beyond that. By the time you've exhausted the entirety of the power that the National Guard can bring to bear to stop a rebellious group of people, it has spread into where you've got states starting to talk about secession and shit like that. And it becomes political decision making to use military force, not just crowd control within a given county. That there will be intense consequences to those decisions to use that kind of power.
But you still agree that would be what they do. They wouldn't just say fuck it and give it up.
By the time Civil War became Civil War, would it be a war?
No, by the time it got to the point where the National Guard isn't going to do the job, that the only other step is to give it up or send in the military.
And you understand, and you agree that by that point it would be more or less a Civil War type situation? I believe that in a Civil War they would use all the military force that they could to fight the other side. Yes. So yeah, they would call in the military.
Then where are you having? Then where's how is it that I'm jumping to this? That's what would happen. I'm saying if you were uprising against a tyrannical government, couldn't be put down by the other forces the government has to do that, then they would send in the military. Therefore, your guns would be versus the military in the ultimate playing out of this. Those would be the only two. That's the ultimate possibility, right? That's the, unless they go, okay, you know what, their guns are too much. We're going to stop. We're just going to let them have whatever it is they want. Then the final answer is military. Real quick, James Colley, thank you. I love it when Polly goes off on an educational smackdown because Monkey gives as good as he gets. I love arguing with Polly. Polly's a smart guy. Me and him disagree, which is what makes Polly fun to argue with.
Yeah, but at this time I'm seeing dejected Eve over there, which I never like to see. We should end the call. I don't know. I think we've run the topic quite well, and I think chat, Eve and SDA would be happy to hear us admit that.
Well, there are actually some of the people in chat who are mad that I even said anything, but they can suck my dick. So no, that I was just going to say it doesn't seem like you guys are really going to get anywhere, and you've been going on for about 20 minutes.
That's what I mean when I say I think we've run the topic pretty well. So it's I think that's good.
Y'all are quitters. Y'all are quitters. But with that, God, how long have we been going?
I would say this discussion, say Polly came in.
Oh, we're at 2 hours. So yeah, we'll end that on a good debate.
You
Did you see when I called you a shill on Twitter today?
I did not.
You should look that tweet up. I had fun rating that.
Let me look that up.
I was watching another video, and you were planted right for Monkey in the Morning stream. Was planted right in between multi-million view videos, and I was like, "Motherfucker!"
Nice.
So I took a screenshot and busted your balls.
I don't even think I tagged that one. I tag very few videos, and usually when I do, it's there's a hint of what the tag will be in the description there, or in the title. Guys, thank you so much for coming, hanging out. Thanks for the super chats and the Streamlabs. I can't tell you how much I appreciate those. And James, thank you for the money for the game, because I guarantee you I will be enjoying that. And man, I can't wait. What is that? September? Oh, I hate waiting. I'm not a patient man. SDA, anything you want to plug tonight?
Yeah, buy my fucking book. Hold on, let me.
that is not a good shill.
That is a well.
At this point,
of shilling.
Actually, it's been working out pretty well.
Yes. Hashtag buy her fucking book. So
hashtag buy my fucking book. Look, it's a good book, and you all should read it.
You should.
Okay, Polly, anything you'd like to shill out there tonight?
Yeah, Jack Quiz and myself just recorded the audio for a edited video. My God, that I'm going to be putting up on my channel. Related to comics fun. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a link to my channel, and it's related to nothing political at all. Actually, just comic book stuff and fun.
All right, and Eve, anything you'd like to shill?
My channel. Come watch me stream video games and rant at Polly on occasion when he decides to drop by and grace me with his presence.
And you streamed earlier this evening, no? Or
I did.
Yesterday, last night, I guess it would be.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, y'all should go check it out. It's the channel's doing really well and it's taking off. And there's a reason for that. It's fun game streaming. Who doesn't like that?
I know, right?
All right, and tonight is Saturday, I think. Yes, it's Saturday. So tonight we will be on my channel for Lords of the Night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And then we'll be over on 2 Cents Plus playing 7 Days to Die. We'll be giving out something. I don't know what. Maybe some more copies of Grim Dawn. That was a popular what's the word I'm looking for? Raffle tonight. So come check that out. It's a lot of fun over there. Other than that, thank you, James Colley. Polly and Eve need Streamlabs. There you go.
Welcome to my world, Eve.
And thank you, chat. Thank you, SDA, Polly, and Eve. Everyone, have a wonderful day. Oh, wait, and I'm going to try to get a video out as soon as we're done here. I'm going to run over and start working on that. So keep an eye out. If tradition holds, maybe by 11 a.m. We'll see what happens. But you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Later.